All right. Sound check. Let's see if you guys can hear me okay. Yep. Looks like you guys can. I feel like I'll be talking about some stuff and working on some stuff today. Probably doing a little bit of Linux. Checking on Ranger. Ranger is not on his bed right now because people are here, so he's kind of hanging out doing rangery stuff. Whatever kind of stuff he can do to try to get food normally. All right. So what am I doing? I am going to be working on pulling some information, probably different ways of, I don't know, I've got some training to build for work, and I've got just different stuff that I'm working on, so I will probably pull some of that. Let me make sure that my messages are working here. Yeah, that looks good. Okay. I'll probably hop on stream here a little bit. We're not using the green screen today. We're just hanging out. So yeah, let me see what we're working on today then. And we've got our job stuff that we've been working through over here on the right. And I've been asked to make this stuff a little bigger, so I'll make it a little bigger so people can read it. But it's mainly this is, looking for skills to, we were looking at job postings that were out there. And they were just things that I kind of thought that you should go study and read about on some of the different tasks that people had. We had worked our way down through quite a few of them, and we were down in one of these. I think this was more of a DevOps type role. Yeah, and I was just saying what I would kind of look for. And then we were all the way down here on experience in Golang, writing operators, admission webhooks. I don't know much about that. I don't do that kind of thing, but where would I go look at that or go find that out? I'd probably go look for wherever people are, teaching Golang, right? And I'd probably do a lot of that up in Kubernetes, right? So there's probably some Kubernetes, Golang practice or something, or tutorials, I'm sure, out there. Look, there's a fair amount of stuff out there. I always like when somebody's got something up on GitHub and they can kind of walk through. But the point is, you could go and just deploy Golang right into Killer Coda if you wanted to. So one of my things would be probably Killer Coda, right? That's going to be a good place to go for a lot of those skills, because anything you want to write or deploy, you can do up there, even though you'd only be able to use it for a little bit of time. This one says, where would I go look for some stuff? What's this book? Looks like he's talking about Python. I think that's less useful if you're trying to learn Go than maybe a Go book would be, but sorry, getting texts. Okay. But anyways, yeah, I don't know as much about that, so I can't help as much with that. But I do know quite a bit about this. So this next one is nice to haves, which are experience with AWS. So they're an AWS shop. So where might you go to start picking up some AWS skills if you don't have any? Well, there are all kinds of AWS practice. What's the AWS it's the practitioner training. They have training out there for free that you can go do right on Amazon. So they've got their free training from AWS, and you can actually go in here and just start messing around with their training. They have there's a name for it too. I forget what the name is. I think Fisherman would know if he was around, but there's they've got like a little game that you can run around. I think it's that one, Cloud something. No. There's a name for it. It's like a game where you go and you run around in the cloud space. It almost looks like how's that one, Grand Theft. It looks like a Grand Theft Auto type game, but it teaches you cloud stuff. I never really played with it much, but they're all free. Those ones are all free through AWS. All this other stuff, people are trying to sell you something typically, but Amazon has a whole bunch of free stuff out there for you to go train on that you don't have to pay anything for, right? So I would definitely spend some time with that. We have, ProLUG has a bunch of materials up through practitioner. Sorry, not even practitioner. Up through Solutions Architect Pro. We've got a lot of stuff up on the website that we've built over the last few years, because a bunch of us went and got a whole bunch of the AWS certs a while back. I've got 6 of them still, I think. Is that what I got? I'm not exactly sure. I forget because it's been a while. But Solutions Architect Pro is the one that I most recently got. But they want you to understand configuration hardening, automating deployment, and managing the services. So where would you go for that? Well, they actually have a thing called AWS Well Architected, and those frameworks are out there. And one of my favorite things about them is if you go to the Well Architected tool, they will walk you through how this stuff works. But where's it at? Hold on, it's AWS Well Architected Center, I think, right here. Yeah. So you come down here and you say, okay, I want to understand how to deploy compute into the cloud, and I want to be well architected, or do I want to use the cloud adoption framework because that's where I'm trying to get my organization that's already mature to mature some in the cloud space, so I might use that instead. Well, anyways, well architect is just the best practices. And I can go look at any of these different pieces, right? And I may say, well, I just want reference architecture if they have any. Maybe I take away that. And I say, okay, I just want how to deploy EKS on an AWS Outpost rack. So I've got an AWS Outpost rack in my system, and I can come in here and I can look at what that looks like, right? I can go figure out how Elastic Kubernetes service works in an AWS Outpost rack on site, how I connect that up, how that talks to the different deployments or whatever types of things it's going to do, right? For me, this would be the main page right here, this architecture page. I think this is one of the best things to go spend time in. In some of my talks, when we did do a lot of this training way back, a while back, in our AWS talks, specifically when people were getting ready for their architect associate, I had some case study reviews, and my case study reviews kind of look like this. Yeah, look, it was a couple of years ago. Look at that. But anyways, we come over here and, you know, what are you trying to do? You're trying to design design resilient architectures, design high performance architectures, secure applications and architectures, and cost optimize, right? Those are the 4 domains at the time of my writing. There's a 5th one now, but let's say those were the 4 at the time. And you come down here and then we talk through all the different pieces and stuff. Here's a bunch of references and stuff. And then I get people down here. In fact, this was the drawing right there that we were talking about, the EKS and microservices. And I say spend 10 minutes looking at it, and then you pull up that architecture diagram. Should be right there. And this diagram's been archived, but you can go see the current version here. And this is what it looks like now. And then you go, okay, well, what do I know about this? Do I understand how the flow works? Do I understand all of these different pieces and how they interact with each other? Because I'm going to be asked questions about those things, right? So it's kind of my thoughts on that. All right. Anyways, yeah, so that's the AWS stuff there. Architecture stuff's kind of important. All these solutions architect talks that I have, they are up there on our Discord. So if you guys go hang out in our Discord, all that stuff's up there. All right. And side talks over on the YouTube side. How's it going? We're just hanging out today. I'm not working super hard. Just talking about stuff. Experience with Ansible. I think the best way to go get hands-on with Ansible is just to use it. But I do have labs on how to use Ansible up on Killer Coda. So if we go here, this back over here, got all that. Check on Ranger. How's Ranger doing? Ranger's doing good. Killer Coda. We'll go up one from our Kubernetes labs. Double Trouble, how's it going over on the YouTube side? We're just messing around today. We're not working super hard. But here's my Ansible labs. And the Ansible labs, the way I think you should learn Ansible is, I mean, obviously things are going to stick better if you've actually got a problem. But a lot of times, if you're doing systems administration work and you have to do something quickly, you're going to fall back to your Python or your Perl or your shell or whatever you use, right? So what I would advise, this is my way of thinking and how I kind of design this, is go at least play with Ansible, right? Like learn how to install it. That's the first part. Install it, learn what the components are. Figure out how to build an inventory, because when you have an inventory good, everything else kind of goes good from there. Let me move myself down just a little smaller. Hold on. I think Unlock myself, make myself a little smaller. I'm gonna move myself a little smaller because it looks like I was going over the like the chat was behind me. So okay, I think you guys can see me talking better. Double Trouble said it's going good. First time watcher. I don't know what your channel's about. Live stream just popped up in my algorithm. Well, Double Trouble, you are welcome to hang out. What we're doing is normally what I do is all Linux, right? And I run a group called the Professional Linux Users Group, and we have almost 3,000 members, and it's just people that want to get better at doing Linux. And then the goal of the group is to get you guys doing Linux professionally. Like, everybody's a hobbyist. Everybody likes doing it for fun. Everybody thinks Arch Linux is fun and Nix OS and all this stuff. But then, and that's NIX OS. Anyways, but then what we do is we say, okay, those things are fun and we can play with them, but let's do some enterprise level stuff. And then that's what a lot of these labs are, is they teach you how to do stuff and work on a team and take problem tickets and work through, and you know, what does it mean to troubleshoot a thing that was working versus building a new thing as an engineer, and those kind of concepts that like people aren't really teaching. All right. Anyway, so we're over here, and yeah, experience with Ansible. Like, get in there, like, learn how to build, learn how to install it. All tools, learn how to install them. And then learn how to install, you know, any tool, but in this case, Ansible, right? And then learn how to build your inventory. Your inventory is critical. Hey, how's it going, Robodom? Robodom, you can see me on both sides, right? I see that I'm on YouTube for sure, but then hopefully this stuff's going. Yeah, so Robodom's here. I'm not working too hard tonight. In fact, I was kind of hoping to show you guys some Ranger, and then maybe flip through some of our different monitors and stuff, and then just kind of work on some of this other stuff. From here, then, I would say learn how an ad hoc command works. Learn how to build a playbook and work with variables. Those would be like my main pieces here, right? And that's kind of what these labs do. That's kind of what the book is about for people that like the idea of going and reading and going a little deeper in that kind of stuff. You guys can do that. Yeah, Robodom on both. Good, nice. Robodom's given the links there, so you guys can go and hang out there. But yeah, the goal of this is to get you guys doing this stuff professionally. So this Ansible stuff gets you, you know, sometimes on Sundays we'll just do all the labs. Sometimes on, you know, what are we on, Tuesday now? Was this Tuesday night? Yeah, we'll do all the stuff too. But yeah, so this is just us kind of messing around with stuff right now. So experience in Python. I mean, I would tell you, you know, same as above. Learn how to get it running, and then I would tell you find a project and build something that works, right? I have some basic Python stuff that I did in Flask for one of the projects. All it was building out like a little Docker Flask and then getting everything going. How's it going, Enzo Bear? We're just messing around right now, not working too hard. In the Kubernetes labs, we have build a 3-tier app, right? And in this 3-tier application deployment, when you go and you do the deployment, I have you do some like Flask Python back to a MySQL database. Stuff wasn't super hard to figure out how to do, right? It's just find a project, get something that works the way that you kind of want it to. Johnny, man, how's it going? We're just hanging out. Look, I didn't even put my green screen over. I think it got to like 106 today in Phoenix, so it's just, you know, the office is warm and I don't want to kill all the airflow with that green screen, so I'm just gonna, you guys can see what's behind me in my office. I don't care. All right, so how's Ranger doing? Ranger's still out looking for treats somewhere. That's what he's doing. What I wanted to do while I'm just kind of messing around here is I have a few things. I need to work on, we could keep working through these, right? These are real job duties that people had, and we could keep working on those and keep making those or whatever. Yeah, Robodom. It's expected. Like it's kind of. It looks like it's storming up north of Phoenix a little bit, but it is not. It is not cooling off here yet. So your farm. We're not really doing much yet. We're just kind of hanging out. I haven't really decided. We might work on some doctorate stuff. We might work on some. I don't know. This isn't going to be super serious today. We might even pull up. I need to get the new lab stuff going. So I've got the labs for. Oh no, let me go back over here. We've got the home lab stuff. Hold on. But I kind of want to get some stuff set up for you guys for the upcoming weeks. So see if I can get in here. All right. Become root. Oh. So which one was I using? Oh, streaming. So screen-R 73684. There we go. So this is the one I was using for all of my home stuff here. All right. All right. And I was showing you guys the other day that we could clear out the users if we wanted to or whatever. Yeah, Robodom, it's I think we're about to break a record for the most days over 100 in a year. Because yeah, it's October and it hit 106. It's October 1st today, right? And Phoenix hit 106, so brutal. Brutal. All right. So, let's think about what we want to work on. Fisherman's here. Yeah. By the way, yeah. One thing, this came up earlier in the Discord. We had streamer 1, not streamer 01, was getting people. But let me pull something up here, guys. So we've got a Discord, right? You guys are welcome to hang out down there. Got a section called Beginner Start here, where it shows you a bunch of different stuff that's kind of going on, and then we got projects and stuff going on. We got a group running right now. But what I was going to do is I'm going to start putting this out there for everybody. I had been putting in the assignments and the worksheets to go ahead and always send that to me each week. But I'm going to change the rules up a little bit. And I'm going to tell you guys, just keep going through the discussion questions and then just keep adding to your worksheets. And then I'm just going to have you guys send them all at the end. Because what's happened is, as in typical Scott fashion, you know, I'm already working, I'm already teaching. I'm already running a lot of this stuff, and then I'm also working on my doctorate. And man, like a lot more people participated than I thought there were. Like it was probably over 30 people the first week. So I'm like, oh man, this is a lot of stuff. And then it's the second week. Now it's the third week, and I'm prepping for the fourth week. And I'm just like, I'm just gonna, yeah, Fisherman. I thought about just having a bot auto grade everything. Yeah, Robodom. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start saying in there. Just to turn everything in at the end. I'll just tell people, like, just turn it into one big, you know, you should still do them every week. But you're not going to have to turn them in each week, I think. Because I think what will happen better is if we make it all the way to the end, and if, you know, people will know if they've kept up on the discussions, right? Like, the discussions will either be there for you or they won't. In fact, discussion 1 had completely left, but people reopened it. So I'm like, all right, fine, whatever. They go away after I think they haven't been used for 4 or 5 days or something. But people have been making discussion posts in these other ones, so they came back. But you guys are welcome to go in there and start kind of going through that stuff. So, all right. And then look, we have up in the actual event, we've got 178 people saying they're coming, so that's pretty good. Yeah, Tuberta, hopefully this stuff's useful to you. Yeah, the goal of this, again, is to get you guys in here doing this stuff, right? And I was thinking about maybe when we're done with doing this, because this is going to go all the way to the end of the year, this administration course, maybe we'll turn around and we'll do one that's just security related. Maybe one that's like security and engineering, because I think that those are two topics that, you know, even if you're not doing security, most people want to learn security better. And then even if you're not like just a straight engineer to be an engineer, those engineering topics are good across the board, right? Like knowing how to build a histogram is super useful, whether like you're trying to figure out like a potential failure cause or You're trying to like, and some people have never built a wishbone diagram to figure out what could be a potential failure on something, and that's like, that's a good skill to have. Like, understanding your tools that you have to figure things out and stuff will really, it'll be useful. One of the things I used to joke around about all the time is like, when you work with project managers, like a lot of times guys will go get their PMPs. Everybody here know what a project management professional is? A PMP, not a PIMP, a PMP. And this PMP thing, like everybody I know that's ever gotten one, they go and they learn all these methodologies and stuff, and then when they come in to run projects, they don't use any of them. And I'm like, what the hell? Like I would want to know the tricks and then use the tricks, not just know them and have a degree sitting on my wall that, you know, says I went and did all this PMP stuff, right? So, anyways, but yeah, everybody that popped in, hopefully this stuff's useful to you guys. What are we doing though? We were just talking about these things, these nice to haves, right? We have a bunch of materials on AWS. AWS, I don't know why I put AWS shop there. That should be training. AWS has a lot of really good training for you guys for like the beginner stuff, and it's free. Like there's so much free stuff for you guys that if you're trying to get one of these type of jobs, the goal is to like not, it's the same thing when I go and I try to do a cert. Like I just want to have everything kind of at least checked off. Like I don't want, like, I know they're going to ask me something about Kafka, and I didn't even bother reading what Kafka was. That's like the worst thing. You're in an interview and somebody's like, I don't think this guy knows any of this stuff because he doesn't know this one thing, and you're like, but I knew all the other stuff. I do it professionally, right? Like that's the kind of thing. So anyways, we might get back into that, but what are we doing here? We've got our lab here. Let's see our server. Let's make sure all our servers are up because people have been, oh look, Rocky 3's down. Let's fix all the lab boxes real quick. 16 is down. 6 is down. 16 is down. 15 is down. All right. So people have been breaking them. I expect that, right? We don't want that one. We want here. This one. So 15's down. Start. 16 needs to be restarted. And then what was the other one? 3. Reboot. All right. We'll get them all to reboot. So we're going to reboot them, and we'll let them come back up. We can watch them come up if people are interested in that. I know some of you have seen that so much that doesn't really matter anymore. But the nodes will go through iPixie. They'll find out who they are from the Rocky server, which is the only DHCP on the net, and it'll kick over to them what their network is. By the way, I've got 2 networks in my home lab. One is the 192.168.11 network, and the other is the 192.168.200 network, which is what you guys use when you jump into the lab here. What's the GUI right here, Colchis? This is XCPNG. It's a tool that allows you to connect into your hypervisors. Oh yeah, it's called XCPNG, and then this is the XCPNG Center. So it just gives people access to run their hypervisor here. Now I can also run the hypervisors here, right, over SSH. But if I just want to watch a console of a server, like I want to watch a server boot, I can do it right here, right? And then it wouldn't be very useful for me to come in here, right, and go, okay, I'm going to check every one of my servers here. This would take too long. What's better is I just come here and I just go through them all with Ansible, right? And Ansible will tell me on the left here which nodes. So 1, 2, 4, 5, all these nodes are up. Most of them have been rebooted in the last little bit, meaning people have been on them. 3 and 15 are still pulling up their configs, as is 16. So they're not, those ones are not responding. Yeah, 3, 15, and 16 are the ones we're waiting, excuse me, to come back up. So 15's coming up here. We see it running its SE Linux. I know that's real small for people on mobile, but that's going to come up and boot and all that good stuff. So, all right. We'll give this a minute. We'll give those a minute or two to come up. And then what I was thinking of doing was Well, I had a few things I was thinking of doing. I could pull up. Let's go pull up Ranger Cam, and let's go look for. Is there a werewolf container for Cali? I think there's a werewolf container for Cali. I'm kind of interested if anybody's built one for Cali. If there's not, that's fine. I don't want any of that. Container for Cali. Let's see if they've got one. Here's their official Docker images, and that's fine. Let me see if anybody's got a. If anybody's got one. Want only ones with Cali. I guess we could build our own. I mean, if we've got a Docker image, we could build it, and we could add the container. So, wait, if we were to use the home lab, should we wait till you're done reboot? Yeah, Robdom. I'm not rebooting all of them. I'm only bringing up those 3 that are already down. I'm not rebooting any. So, I'm not rebooting any that were down. I was just fixing the ones that were. Yeah, you get it. I'm not taking down working on. There's Ranger. He's back on his bed. All right. Yeah. Hold on. Where we're at here. Here. Let's see. See if they're all back up yet. We're all right. 3's back up. 15, 16. Okay. Yeah. They all look like they're up. So all of them respond. You'll notice they do not respond in order. It basically shotguns them out and gives you them all back in the order that they respond. By the way, that's defined. If I cd to Etsy Ansible in here, if I were to grep for fork from ansible.cfg, I don't see fork in there. So that's interesting. That's a view ansible.cfg. Huh. That's normally where it would be. Yeah, I guess I don't know where it puts it now. Did they move it somewhere? Huh. Was there one set up like in here for a user? I don't know. This is like new new ground for me. Huh. That's strange. Yeah, I don't know if that's changed recently, but that's you used to always have it down in Etsy Ansible. Etsy Ansible. And then the Ansible config would have whatever. And they're saying we could just generate one with all the defaults. And then in here, go look at our grep. Yeah, I know I can control art. All right, so see now how forks are 5. So we could either override it in the command that we run, or we could override it there for all future runs. So I'm just going to say Ansible servers, and then we'll just say like dash. We'll give like a forks of like 15. We'll do fork of 20. So it'll hit all 20 servers at the same time. And what'll happen here is now you're going to see them all come back at once instead of waiting for that default 5. So see how it's 3, 9, 5, 13, 6, 11. They're out of order. but they hit them all at the same time. That forking is actually very important when you hit a lot of different systems. Like if you're hitting over 100 systems, forking really starts to become like a big. Yeah, I use Control R sometimes. It just, depends what I'm trying to do. All right. Also, man, are any of you guys like? I know there's an election coming up, but are any of you getting like? I mean, like, I'm probably up to like 5 or 6 texts a day from like political stuff, and it's just like, I just can't. I can't even deal with it. I'm seriously. I've gotten 2 during this. I've gotten 2 since the last 30 minutes. Political things. It's amazing. Got your phone number whenever I sign up for stuff online. Yeah. All right. So let's. I don't really have anything that I have to build into the lab right now, but I may start doing. So what I might start doing in the. Well, I can tell. Well, yeah, it's interesting. It's Arizona. Yeah, don't even get me started on Arizona. And I register independent. I've registered independent for 20 years. So like in Arizona, you have to register for a party to be able to vote in their primaries. So nobody bugged me during primaries. But now, since people think I'm independent, it's like I get it everywhere. It's just like it's wild. I try not to talk politics too much. I especially like 16 years of college teaching. I don't do too much talking politics in the classroom. I know some teachers really like to do that, and I'm like, not really my thing. I'm here to teach you engineering, right? Like, let's argue about that. Let's argue about the processes of engineering, right? And the slow decay of all things towards a broken down process, right? Because that's what all engineers observe, right? But anyway, so we're looking at this stuff. What I was gonna show you guys is we have these images, right? So WWCTL image list, and wait, where am I at? WWCTL. Oh, it's a container. Sorry, it's container list. I think of them as container images, right? So what I want to show you, these are all the containers I have in my environment, right? And the nodes are all tied to a container. So when the nodes come up, they go to Werewolf on port 67. Oh, here, I'll tell you. We just look on here. It's 9873. That's it. I always mess that up. But that's the port for Werewolf right there, right? So if we do an LSOF dash I on :9873, it would show me, hey, here's all this Werewolf stuff that's happened, right? And you might say, well, why are all those nodes checking in, right? Well, the nodes actually will check in, and they'll get overlays pushed to them every minute. If you want, you've got a what's called a static overlay and a dynamic overlay, and the static overlay is pushed when the node first comes up, but dynamic overlays can be pushed all the time to the nodes, and it's configurable, but by default it's every 1 minute. So what does that mean? Well, if I add users or if I do other stuff to the cluster, I can push it out to all my nodes in real time, and that's super useful. That's super useful, especially when you have like storage. Like you got storage of like user homes that's like mounted everywhere, and like in my systems. Let's go to Rocky One real quick. And all of these Opt Home and Labs come off of Werewolf, right? In another, so who set this to 69 gigs? I swear one of you guys are messing with me somewhere here. But most people don't have access to. Yeah, you guys do have access to this, but that's kind of. I think somebody probably did that on purpose. I'd be willing to bet one of you guys did that on purpose, because these are all tied to the same back end. So, I swear. I swear, you guys. What? Oh, because I'm on. Yeah, I'm root over there. So root's squashed over there, so root doesn't have it. Yeah. Yeah. I think one of you guys probably did that messing around with me, but that's very clever. That's funny. So what I was going to show you though is we could take these containers, right? So if I come back here to the container list, I can do a wwctl container, and then I could look at the commands that are there, and I can copy the lab container that I'm using. Oh, and by the way, if I do container list, I think it's -A. No. Container show. Maybe. No. Is -A there? No. Wait. I know I have it somewhere. Container list. Let's just do list. I know there's a way, I don't know where it is, but I could probably find it, but where you can show which of these are applied to which nodes. Your username has a typo? Lab user? Oh. Yeah. So I can copy this lab. I think I copied it down for the SE Linux, and then I can do a wwctl and then say node list, right? -A, and I can see all the node lists of all the nodes, and that's going to get kind of crazy. But I can grep -I for like container, and I can see just the container, and I see that all of them are the Rocky Linux 9 lab. So I'm not using any of those other labs. But the reason this is important is because if I wanted to change one of these nodes to a different type of container, I could just go copy and rebuild that container, and then I could deploy it. All I gotta do is turn the node off and bring it back up, and it'll pull all the information again. So, kind of a convenient way to do maintenance and management on the system. As it is, though, I think the lab's been working pretty well for people. We did a meeting on Saturday for for week 3, and I saw like 7 or 8 people like down in there hanging out and working through the lab with each other. So I thought that was kind of cool. The lab was all LVM, logical volume management, and then it was also like MD-ADM. So if you've never done those two things, and it actually looked like this right here. This was what we did, was we took raw disks and we made them into physical volumes for logical volume management. Then we aggregated them up into volume groups, and then we carved them down into logical volumes. Then we mounted them to the file system. So some of you guys did that. DevTober, Musselman, I never really thought to do anything for DevTober. We did do 12 Days of Christmas last, was it 2 years ago now, guys? I don't remember. But it was just like a 12-day challenge in around Christmas. But it wasn't like, you know how people do that coding thing or whatever? It wasn't, I didn't even know that they did a coding thing. I had just said, hey, let's do like 12 Days of Christmas or something. And that's up in our oh yeah, some of you guys were doing Code Wars. I remember that, yeah. That was actually pretty good. Where was that? We did that, I don't remember where we did that. I want to say it was down in like, no, it wasn't lab environment. It was, might have been in presentation somewhere up here, but all right. But anyways, guys, there's a Discord. You guys can go hang out in there if you want to. Yeah, Fisherman, I don't know what DevTober is either. Maybe we should go hit the Googles with that. Hold on. Let's go see, what is DevTober? Like, everybody wants to learn a language? Oh, are you guys doing it for games? Looks like some people are doing it for games. Rizushi, I would figure out what you want to do. So the question was, what do I do to set up stuff for the home labs? Rizushi, I would figure out what you want to do. Do you want to like learn Linux on a command line? Do you want to like set up a service of some type? And then I would work back from that, as opposed to just thinking you want to build a home lab. And here's why. Because I don't think you have to go spend money buying hardware or anything like that just to like stand it up and not do anything with it. I think you can do a lot of stuff in the cloud for free. And that's not just AWS. There's also Azure. I don't know what Google's platform looks like, but you can just stand stuff up out there and run it just to see kind of what it looks like. You know, you don't have to. Um, and then there's a whole bunch of, like, let's say you want to do set up a website in AWS or something, right? And here's like host your website in AWS, and there's like a bunch of different projects for, you can use Amazon EC2 to do it. You can use Lightsail, you can use Lambda or Elastic Load Balancer. There's all these things. You can set up the most basic Amazon S3 little static page out there, right? Okay, all right. So you already have a home lab. Perfect. What I would do then, yeah, I would work forward, I guess, from that. So you have a lab machine already. I would figure out, these are kind of my, let's call these my high level steps, my Scott high level steps. I would figure out what you want to put on that machine. So yeah, what type of hypervisor? So do you want Proxmox? Proxmox is out there. How are you going to get that on your machine? Almost guaranteed it's going to be something as simple as take a little USB like this, go download the Proxmox version you want, right? Here's the ISO installer, or so this is the regular server, the backup, or the Prox gateway. You probably want the basic server, right? The basic hypervisor. Download that, get it uploaded. Then you're going to also probably need this thing again to maybe either move some ISOs up, or you may just be able to push them up. I'm not sure with the ISO tool or whatever. Yeah, and then once you get the system booted, once you get that system booted, then you can start to push stuff over. Yeah, you can use DD and whatever you have to write stuff to your disks for sure. But yeah, here's your virtual environment, and then you go figure out, I'm sure there is, for this, I'm sure there's some kind of front-end tool, and one of you guys would know this better than me, that you put on your machine that looks something like probably this, and this is how you would control your hypervisors. So yeah, and Sili, hopefully this stuff's useful to you. Yeah, we just hang out and do a lot of Linux. Sometimes we do some cloud stuff and some security stuff. I am getting ready. So what I need to do is get ready for next week. I also need to work on some college stuff. I also need to, I got a lot of stuff I need to do, but what am I actually doing? Who knows? It's not really like work, whatever I'm working on. Ranger Cam back up. Ranger is not on Ranger Cam. He must be thinking that there's food somewhere over there. Doctorate info, yeah. What do I got to do for the doctorate tonight? I got to make another post on our message boards because we go from Thursday to Wednesday. So I have tonight to do I'm going to do a second one tonight, and then I'm going to do another one tomorrow. And I got a paper due tomorrow that I should probably start soon. That paper is on the difference between a theoretical model and a conceptual model. Oh, look, there's Ranger. There he is. Man, Ranger's walking slow, guys. He's not nearly as athletic as he is when he was younger. My time zone is, I am in the Arizona time zone, which I think is Pacific. Yeah, we're Pacific right now. Yeah, we're Pacific time zone. So, is Ranger a Power Ranger? Not anymore, man. Ranger's old now. Ranger doesn't, like, I can see him down there breathing hard, and I guarantee all he did was walk over to get food and come back. He's like breathing all heavy, and he hasn't even done nothing. It's like me. I'm just kidding. Ranger's almost, gosh, what is he? He's old. So, yeah, we like Ranger. Tuber T, you're transitioning from network engineer with security background to DevOps engineering. Any recommendations? The main one for people doing DevOps stuff, and if your DevOps is like a lot of DevOps, I would say go do those Google, those SRE books that they have. I know site reliability and DevOps are not the same thing, but they have a lot of good stuff in here that's kind of DevOpsy, even though it is not. Where do they have that? They have all the books here, yeah. Because site reliability and DevOps I wouldn't say they go directly hand in hand, but they're a lot of times, you know, people use those interchangeably out in the industry. So, um, yeah. So I would spend some time here, and then learn some of these topics. That's kind of my thoughts. Of course, I don't do DevOps type stuff really. I mean, I guess I do more the platform and Linux systems engineering where I am, and then specifically I do that for high performance compute systems. Um, I build a lot of training for that as well, so I'm always kind of like pulling stuff out of my systems and setting up a way for the users to learn how to do it. Yeah, I'm -7. Yeah, yep. Yeah, it's 6:42 p.m. for me here. Yeah, I think it's -7. Robodom's giving you guys the Discord. We're almost up to 3,000 people, which is wild because I remember when in March, right at the end of March, we were just hitting 1,000. So we're, I mean, we're very used to being kind of like a small little Linux community, but we're trying to kind of get more people doing it. And again, the whole goal is to get you guys doing this stuff professionally, right? Like get you guys out there. Because a lot of people, you know, we do this stuff for fun, but you can also do it for very good money, right? And I think a lot of these tools and stuff are very accessible nowadays, especially with like stuff like Killer Coda. You can just get in there and do stuff. Muscleman, yeah, we're trying to get more streamers. Yeah, we have Fisherman who goes, yeah, Fisherman's a streamer. We try to get him to stream pretty often. He's on right now over on the Twitch side. And then we used to have a couple other guys that would stream. Salty Catfish used to stream a little bit, but he hasn't been streaming. We used to have a guy, Chicken Biryani. He would stream, but he never streamed tech stuff. He would always just do normal stuff for like gaming and stuff. And he never had too many people, but we tried. He came and talked to the group a few times about API stuff. So actually, it's funny. He recently left his job, so I feel like I can tell this story online. I never told this story online where I actually told who the company was. But now that I don't know anybody that's actually at that company anymore, I'm going to go ahead and... yeah, he swore in games in India. That is actually funny they did. He had some... he couldn't stream much, and he had some issues and stuff. But he's up in New York. He's not far from you, Fisherman. I know you're in that same general area. But anyways, I'll tell you guys a funny story. We were sitting down there one time, and we had actually, it was probably our biggest group that we had to that point on Discord. We had probably like 17 people sitting in there. And Salty Catfish had came. I know Salty Catfish IRL. Like I met him working. That's how I originally met him, is me and him were always doing the brown bags for work, and we were always teaching people how to do. I was always teaching people the Linux and the Ansible, and he was always trying to teach people how to do like Python and testing and like systems methodology stuff, and it's kind of funny. But anyways, Salty comes to talk to us. I've got to not use his real name. Salty comes to talk to us, and we have everybody sitting there, and what's his name was here? Chicken Biryani. He used to go by Dumb Chicken, but Chicken's here, and Salty's here. Salty's here, and Salty's like, okay, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna do some API work, and I'm gonna test it against this company called Pluto TV. Anybody here ever heard of Pluto TV? So he's like, I'm just gonna like mess around. I'm gonna show you guys this cool little thing I found out about their API or whatever. So he goes in and he pulls an API key, right? And he goes, now look, with this API key, I'm gonna be able to go and like channel surf all their stuff. But this is just a guest key. I don't think they intended for me to be able to do all this other stuff with it. So he's like showing us all that. Well, hold on. So Chicken 2 weeks before had told us he had a new job, but you know, a lot of times people don't tell all their business out, you know, where they're working and stuff like that. Anyways, Chicken pipes up. There's 17 of us in there, of all the tech people in all the world, of all the jobs and stuff like that. And Chicken comes back with, I just got hired by them 2 weeks ago. I'm their lead API developer. And it was funny that Salty was like exploiting their API, not in a bad way again, but he was just like taking a guest key and doing all these privileges that he wasn't really supposed to have. Like he was scraping everything and reading everything. Yeah, actually he did fix that, Robodom. He fixed that later that month. Yeah. But it was just really funny. Like how were 17 people going to have 2 people in there? One, we did not plan that. I didn't know he was going to do it. Salty Catfish just happened to pick that API because he had been messing around with it. And then we just happened to have their brand new like API. He was in charge of like their API development for like their whole little company there. That was kind of funny. Whoever, I don't even know how big Pluto TV is. I know it still exists, but he's left there, so I don't mind telling that story. He was there for a couple of years. I think well, I don't know. I don't want to tell tales out of school, but I think there were layoffs, but I'm not 100% sure. So, all right. Yeah, I don't know the exact story there, but I do know he's looking for work again. So, but that's kind of, a lot of people are kind of looking for work, right? Like, isn't that kind of like a common thing nowadays? So, all right. Yeah, I could show you guys what I'm working on. What do you guys want? Somebody said doctorate work. I do need to go read more, so I don't know if you guys ever do this, but you got Scholar? Huh. The wife didn't know I had my camera on. You guys see Wifey walk by? Wifey, you were just on camera. Sorry. Did you hear? Well, now they're going to wave to you when you go back by, and I'm just going to sit here and look at you until you walk back by. I'm just kidding. It's funny. Back in the day when I used to do this, she would close the door. Like, you'd see her hand reach out and close the door before she'd walk by. It's kind of funny. I did tell her earlier I wasn't going to have my camera on, so that's fine. Well, but it's just, I didn't want to put the... I don't know if you guys saw her walk. She walked backwards back by there. She's got a bunch of her friends downstairs. She's got like 3 or 4... got 4 of her girlfriends over, and they're like painting stuff. I could show you guys what the start of what they're doing, because I took the starting picture, but hold on here, I'll post it down in the off topic. Give me a second here real quick. Hold on, I'm moving it from my phone to this so I could show you guys here. Hold on. This is what they're doing downstairs right now. I don't know where they were going with this, but they're like doing some kind of painting of pumpkins or something. So like, that's our kitchen table and then our game room over to the left. Some of you guys have seen all that. But anyway, those are like cut out wood pumpkins. And then I think those are little paint dabbers and then paint brushes. And then I think they were going to like, I don't know, they're doing some kind of girls thing. Hence why I'm up here hiding in my bell tower, right? Like, I'm upstairs hiding away from things because that's what they're downstairs doing that stuff. And that's our game room. Some of you guys have seen the game room. Like, she built this whole big wall of games. We have a few hundred games. Because, you know, games are fun. Oh, what was I going to do? Scholar. .google.com. Yeah, Mr. Hunchback. Yeah, I live in my bell tower. So, I don't know if you guys have ever been on Google Scholar. When you just go look stuff up. Right? And you could just go find one of the things you'll find here on the left is it says like anytime, and you can get anything. Or you can say since 2020, like in my case, I probably want 20 probably want 2022. Yeah, let's say like 2022 to present, right? And then I should be able to hit that and search. And it'll give me all of the cybersecurity type ones. And then I should be able to say if they have citations, which is important. I can sort by relevance or date. I only want the most recent ones or whatever. Microsoft shut theirs down. What, you're talking about their Scholar site? Well, kills off all their good products. Don't make them. Yeah, Musselman. They are. Google probably is like the most killinest company around I've seen as far as like just pruning stuff off that doesn't. But let's see. What are these? I haven't even looked. I've never even been on here. I use my library for my college normally. Well, let's see what kind of things they've got here. So I don't like that. I want it to pop up in a new window. But let's see what this is. So this is audit. We'll accept the cookies. Audit log management, and then this is an abstract, and then you can either buy the book here. See, I was hoping, and this is a thing again, I normally come in, so I get all of my login access directly through my library, but I'm kind of curious if some of these are, since they're already as like a PDF. Yeah, so here's an abstract. Date is whenever. author is whoever, but let me go look. Typically, 36. Okay, they've got 36. So what will happen a lot of times here is, I don't know what this research gate is. Let me go look at this. What the hell is this? It doesn't seem like these are probably peer reviewed, which is a problem. Packet, no good. I haven't messed with Packet too much, Muscleman. I get books from Humble Bundle typically. I think I do have one packed. Hold on. If you go to my stuff here, I do have a bunch of books. Most of these books I bought right off of over the years. I need to read these one day. Has anybody here read the Malazan series, the Malazan Book of the Fallen? My brother has been trying to get me to read this for a long time. I need to get around to it one of these days. I need to open this with Chrome, or yeah. Where else Chrome at? Okay, we'll do it with Firefox. I just don't want to open it with the Sumatra. Oh, that's the EPUB. Ah, shit, that's not good. We'll just open it regular way. Steven Erickson, that's the guy's name. I got it on an EPUB reader. But I'm probably never going to sit and read a book like that in my life, so I might read it on my thing one of these times. Red Part of the Force. Yeah, my brother Steve swears they're really good, but I haven't messed with those too much. All right, let me get this out of the way here. Let's see what some of these look like. So I don't... 2024. I do like, I mean, it looks like people are, they've got their abstract, they've got their keywords, their introduction. Let's see if at the end they've got their conclusion. Okay, they've got their conclusion. And typically, do they have a additional, no, they're not. A lot of times with your research, you're going to have your, future work, like that kind of stuff. Yeah, I have my Zotero open over here. I have my Zotero, and I've got stuff that I've been working on and going through. I know I need to get a whole lot more. I also keep a whole fair amount of things inside of my OneNote. I have a whole bunch of stuff inside of OneNote as well. So what I just wanted to look for was, okay, so there's that stuff. Can I go cybersecurity breaches and then review articles? Let's go everything. What's this? Somebody did a literature review on static application security. So csmontana.edu. Again, this is really, it really bugs me that it's not doing it as its own. You know what I'm saying? Like it bugs me that it's not doing it as its as a pop out as a new tab. All right, these people are. I have not worked with any of these supercomputing sites, but I was looking for some that I had, so that was kind of funny. All right, they've got an abstract, they've got an introduction, it's all good. They're using the scientific notation, which I like. I like scientific notation more than I like APA or MLA. I don't know if any of you guys use it. Scientific notation, you just drop it like this, and then at the bottom of the work, you just have them all in order. So like right here, here's reference 1, and then it was just in the text 1. Whereas with APA, so watch right here, when they cited that, it was right here as 1. Well, the reason that APA has you do the author's name, and then if there's a group of authors, you have to use either all of their names or et al, and then you have the date, right? Whereas like here, I can just say, hey, it's cool, bro, go look down there if you want to go review my shit. And this, like, I like scientific notation like this but I don't get to write in scientific notation for my doctorate. I got to use APA, so dumb. All of my work after that would be this notation. I don't have any respect for the other notations. I think they're stupid. Like, that makes the most sense to me as an engineer. Just put whatever you want in there, and then you can just have them all down at the bottom. So non-peer reviewed, but most up to date. Yeah, Exunyum. Unfortunately, I have to have things peer reviewed. The only way I can get around peer review for things, and this is true of pretty much all academic work, is if it's a seminal work. And you say, what the heck's a seminal work? Like, if I'm quoting Edwards Deming, who's basically like one of the fathers of kind of like total quality management and like scientific management of quality, total quality management stuff, I could pretty much get away with just using his stuff from like the 1980s. Everything else has to be like within 5 years of when you're graduating. So I'll probably either finish my doctorate at the end of 26 or early 27. And if you don't finish it at the end of 26, then you've got to prune off all that old shit and go get new references from your 2021 stuff. All that has to go away. So that's why it's like, it's a hassle for a lot of people. Like, that's why some people never finish their doctorate, is because there's so much work around that notation stuff. But anyways, hey, you guys ever do static application security testing? And they're talking about face challenging problems with no clear solution. Modern software breach. Yeah, well, didn't we just have a modern software breach the other day where it caused its own problem? So a lot of times, like, what a static application security test is we look at the code before we go run something in the wild. Static is always looking at the code. Are you calling in libraries that are insecure? Are we calling in whatever of these other things? Yeah. Well, because colleges want you to be, you know, if you're publishing something with their name on it and your name on it, it has to be relevant current research, and it has to be against relevant current research. So that's why it's like that, Exunyum, in case you guys are wondering. I can link, I mean, I don't think any of you guys care if I link any of this, but what I like about this is if I like this and I go, oh, okay, this is an interesting thing, barriers to using static application security testing, I can go and I can just save this right here to Zotero, and it'll just go through it in my doctorate work here, and then there it is, barriers to using that, and then I can generate a bibliography from it right here, and then if I were to go drop that bibliography somewhere, nope, that's definitely not it. Hold on. Create bibliography, copy to clipboard. There it is. So there's a APA formatted, APA 7 formatted thing for that, which again, I could write one, but that's just faster, right? Faster to do it that way. So I do kind of like Zotero. Now I have that in my notes for any of this stuff that I want to look at. Does anybody want me to link this? I can link this to you guys if you want it. Otherwise, I'm just looking through. And they went and looked at a bunch of different things out there. Looks like they were just looking at papers. Doesn't help. They said it's in purple and blue, but I can't see that. That's black and white, right? I don't know. Can't tell. I don't see purple and blue there, but all right. False positives, work disruption. Let's see if they have conclusion. So like I was saying, a lot of times when things are peer reviewed, they'll have future work, right? So then when you're reading this, right, and you're going and looking at all this stuff, you come down here and you say, okay, what a lot of times people will do is they'll draw their conclusions, right? Because there's always in academic work, there's always a nature of like, not combativeness, but it's like an argumentative, like you take a stance and then you prove that stance or whatever. But one of the things they have here is with future work is like acknowledging, you know, what we didn't get to study here and then setting the groundwork for future work, right? Oh, Exunyum, I like that. Old paper should be republished under new revisions. Like, yeah, that would work. Yeah. So So this one's interesting because, and then here's another thing that's interesting about it. If your static application security testing, if this is a good paper and this is interesting, right, and it solves whatever you're trying to learn or read about a system. In fact, a lot of times, guys, when you're doing just fast literature review, you're just reading the abstract at the beginning and the conclusion at the end. And the reason you do that, if you're doing like a literature review, is you can read a lot more material that way. And then what you do is you say, okay, this deserves to be annotated, and then you spend a little more time in there, and then you go read the other parts of it. But if you're just reading a lot of stuff, you're just reading the abstract and the conclusions, and then you say, well, where would I go find other stuff? Well, maybe you start looking for some of these other things. You start to go, this is a static analysis tool for detecting web application vulnerabilities. But again, that's static. That's before it gets out in the wild. And I may be able to just go grab this, and also this from 2006, so it's a bit dated. But I should be able to come back here and throw that in Google Scholar, and it should be able to give me that article right there. Boom. Then here's this other one. Now, oh, this looks like it's the same one again. That's funny. Anyways, so that's interesting. Are they? Copy. This one 3 days ago. What are these guys talking about? No thanks. Out of South Korea? Okay, okay. I don't know if you guys can read that okay. Space to air ground infrastructure. I haven't heard that term before, even though I've worked with a lot of space to ground. Mostly catching stuff out of satellites. Yeah, I am sorting by date, so I'm getting the newest date. Yeah. Yeah. Yep. I can print this book too. Now this is a... Yeah, this is just a preview. Okay. That's interesting. Which is not necessarily useful for me. Can I also... I only want articles. I think I can come in here and I can set my profile, right? If I wanted it. And then I can come down here and... Yeah. Like, let's say I did red team activity, right? Interesting. Oh yeah. The Cassie HackSpaceCon had some cool talks about satellite security. Nice. Yeah, I mostly did downstream from satellites when I worked at Lockheed. Mostly I do the high-speed storage that catches everything, right? I would keep my luster systems up. That's mostly what I did. Interesting. All right. Well, that's something to play with, I guess. I need to. I actually have a paper to write later, but I'll do that. Do that here in a little bit. Well, it's not due till tomorrow night, so I got a little bit of time. But what else? We could keep doing the job stuff for getting people kind of ready for that, or. I don't know. I don't really have a good plan on what I'm working on tonight, so Thanks for the follows, guys. I don't know why my system's not alerting me anymore, but hopefully it's letting you guys know. Hopefully, has the Ranger thing been popping up, Robodom? Has the little Ranger, you know, like welcome to the stream type thing? I don't know if that's been popping up for people or not, but yeah, it hasn't been popping up today. That's not good. That's definitely. It's definitely got a space for it. Let me do like a follow. It has been popping up. I'm not seeing a follow thing. Oh, let me undo it and then redo it. I don't see it working. Oh well. If you guys don't know, let me pop this up for a second. If you guys don't know, we do have under ProLUG projects, we're running this Linux users group. Well, we're always running a Linux users group, but this is a Linux Systems Administration. I've got a bunch of the old course stuff up here. It started 3 weeks ago. We're going into week 4. We're going to do it all the way until the end of. We're going to do it all the way until the end of the year. So we're just going, right? And it's free. You guys, all you got to do is go and participate. You can go and you can put in. There's discussion questions, right? Like asking you questions about just a bunch of different stuff that hopefully makes you think more about being in the systems engineering world. And even before systems engineering, it gets you into systems administration type stuff, right? So this week we're doing logical volume management and RAID, and then I've got a little worksheet here, and the worksheet walks you through a bunch of the things. You know, you go find these definitions, and then you go and you find any interesting things that we talked about. And people are posting stuff in the class the whole time. And then down here, we're working through these different topics. You know what? That's actually something I need to do. So let me pull this up. I wasn't necessarily going to do this, but let's go to Unit 4. So I'm on Unit 4 here. And let's go grab something from Unit 3. We'll go grab the worksheet. Grab both of these worksheets. Move them over to 4. And then we'll rename them, right? Because we gotta rework those. But hold on. I've got this other thing I gotta do here too. Hold on. Well, a few things actually to do. I've got to go pull the lab stuff, which I think is from here originally. Yeah, my next one is operate running systems. So this is our next like kind of major lab. Yeah. Let me go look at this stuff. So I gotta pull this all out of here, fix all this stuff. Yeah, this is operating a running system, right? So go grab this, copy, go back to Linux group, Linux Systems Administration course. I'm gonna drop this in here. I'm gonna call it Unit 3, Unit 4. We're up to Unit 4. I can't believe it. We're already a month in. Operate running systems. All right. And then I've got one more. I've got one more to do. I've got one more to add here, which I'll just copy this one, and we're gonna call it ProLUG project. And the project. Maybe the project doesn't belong in any one. Maybe the project one belongs out here. Let's go look at the project real quick. Final project. There won't be any discussion questions. Won't be any definitions. There will be reflection questions though. All right. So what I need to do on this one, guys, is I need to put together a final project, and the final project is based on the different project kind of tasks that you guys can come up with. Hey, Haplo, how's it going? It's been a while. Hopefully this stuff's useful to you.
O slash.
O slash. Haplo, I think you were. I actually saw your name the other day. I was in ProLUG Projects. And way up here at the beginning, I think you were the first one up there that, like, commented. I think that's still you. Unless you're a different Haplo. But Haplo comes from, by the way, if you guys don't know, he comes from one of my favorite books. That one popped up, Robodom? Yeah. Yeah, that's weird. It's like some things are coming up and some aren't. But yeah, thanks for the subscription. Hopefully this stuff's useful to you. Subscriptions are different between Twitch and YouTube's, if you guys don't know. They just keep you from having to watch ads, so some people like to do that stuff, don't have to watch ads anymore. The final project is going to be you're going to pick an area, right? So let me pull this other thing up real quick here. Let me just pull this up for a second again. This is the general idea of what the project's going to be. Instructions are select so topic research about a project that you are going to build, okay? And then the topics that's definitely not what I want. Let's go right here. We should be able to restart the numbering at 1. What? Oh, that's funny. I expected up to go down. All right, anyway, so select a topic for a project you're going to build, and then, oh, not right. Two, we'll say, those are just ideas, by the way. They don't have to be those things. Those are the general ideas. So there's going to be plan, there's going to be document, diagram. I'm going to have you guys actually draw something. Hey, well, I don't even know how to say that. Yo, hopefully this stuff's useful to you. Plan the project, document, diagram, build, and then present. I'm not going to make you guys present in front of everybody, but I do want you guys to put together in the project. I do want you guys to put together like a presentation, even if you never give it to anybody. I want you guys to put together a presentation, because by building, like a 10-minute explanation of what you did, I think that it'll help you quite a bit. So I'm gonna write this out a little bit. Yeah, Robdom, that would be good. Yeah, you could do a project around system security where maybe you go and look to harden a box. That would be perfectly acceptable. In fact, one of our guys a few weeks back, well, probably a few months back now, he asked me to go over, we were on stream, or I think it was after stream or something. He said, hey, will you go over this topic? I think we jumped down in Discord and we're talking about either somebody sneaking up on me, or I'm hearing things in my hallway, because like normally I can hear people walking down my hallway towards me, and all the ladies are downstairs. But if you guys see me get snuck up on, somebody better say something. I don't want to get snuck in here. You guys watch me get, because my wife is always trying to. All right. Anyway, there's an old joke between us, and she's always trying to get me because I'm a black belt. So she's like, he's a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and I choked out a black belt. And I'm like, you did not choke out a black belt. You will never be able to say you caught a black belt. So she always wants to think that she can get me. But anyways, so Ranger check. Hold on. I happen to have Ranger right there. Oh, Ranger's having a hard time getting up. And Ranger has also left the camera. So there's your There's your Ranger check. Ranger has run off camera, probably because he thinks that the ladies have snacks of some type. They're being loud down there, so he probably thinks they're snacks of some type for him. So, all right. So where are we at then? Back here, project. Plan the project. I would say there's going to be another part in here. Document. So plan the project will be find documentation or similar projects and build off of what was done there. Right? That was not intended. Diagram. Right? And how are you going to diagram? You're probably going to use Excalidraw, draw.io. Anybody here ever use draw.io? It's actually a pretty good little... I haven't been on draw.io in a long time, and I'm pretty sure it's still going to come up with what I was last doing on here. Yep. Look, I haven't been on draw.io in probably well over a year, and it's still got my deployment I was doing on there of the 3-tier app, the web tier, the app tier, and the database tier, and the Nginx deployment, the app deployment, and then the Redis deployment. This was very early on. This was what eventually later became the 3-tier app where we use Flask and Python. Yeah, it was Flask, Python, and SQL that I ended up using, but this was like an early drawing on there. But anyways, you could save stuff on here. You could do some pretty good stuff in here. Most of the time we use Excalidraw, right? And then Excalidraw is where we draw our different projects out and stuff. And I've shown you guys this before. Whoops. You guys have seen before that you can... man, that's... It's actually funny. Hold on. Where's my page zoom at? I don't know if you guys saw that, but it zoomed on the page instead of just the normal zoom. That was kind of funny. I want this to zoom. Alright, anyways. Code for this app, 3-tier app thingy. Xshunnyum, it's in the code for that is over here. Hold on, leave that. You're talking about where I have my 3-tier app? Yeah, it's here. Hold on. I'll show you. Yeah, if you wanted all the stuff that I wrote, it's right here. I'll link it right there for you guys. So that should go on both sides. I see it on Twitch. I see it on YouTube. All right. Yeah, and then this is the 3-tier app that could technically be a project you guys could do if you wanted. And it's Nginx, Flask, and MySQL. And you wanted to build a proof of concept thing, you know. So yeah, that's the lab that walks you through it. And then on that I actually have a presentation up on Discord on it if you guys wanted that. But build. Get screenshots. Make a video. Basically, prove you built it. And then finalize, redline the documentation. Does everybody here know what redlining is? Not redlining like the company I work for, Redline. That's a different redline. That's actually funny how we got our name, but no, redline the documentation, and then present is set up a 10 to 15 slide deck on what you did What did you learn? So okay. Project purpose. And then diagram, build process, and then what did learn, how, right? So that's kind of my, look, this is my quick rundown of like what the final project's gonna look like. Yes, please, on the Discord presentation. Xshunium, it's here. It's right here. I can't. I'm not gonna pull it up and send it to you guys, but in presentations. It's called 3-tier app right there. So it was on 9/10/2023 right there. Yeah. 9/10 of 2023. Yeah. It's got a lot of links and drawings in that presentation. Like, it's got a lot of like links and stuff that I think will be useful for somebody that wants to do that stuff. So, or go that route. All right. Topics, plan the project, document. I'll probably make this look a little better, but generally speaking, that's pretty much what we're doing. All right, reflection questions. Where you really don't need reflection questions on this one since you've done them there in your presentation. And then we'll say prepare to present. Do any of you want to present? Let me know and we'll go sell it in the next few weeks. Because here's the thing, right? And I know this kind of is going over into the systems engineering side of things, but I still think that's valuable as an administrator to know. The fact that you can build a thing is kind of important. I mean, that's kind of your task as an engineer. But being able to document it so that somebody else can come along later and run it is also very important. Like, how did this person build it, and you know, this kind of stuff. That's a big part of doing administration and engineering. So, yeah, we got to do that. So, anyways, this is going to be part of the project. We're going to start probably working on the project this week in the Linux Systems Administration course. So I'm gonna have you guys start working on that a little bit. All right, there's all that stuff. There's Ranger. Ranger's back on his bed. You guys get a free Ranger check right there. That dog. He's getting all the excitement he needs for the day with people over, so that's kind of good. What else though? Did we hit? Yeah, we're a little over an hour. All right. Obviously, I'm not working too hard tonight because I've got all this other stuff I've got to work on. But we will. Oh, is he getting a treat or something? He looks like he's getting something. We'll keep going. If you guys are working in the course, keep working on stuff. You have until Saturday. This is Unit 3. And then we'll keep going. The course is free, so, you know, it doesn't cost you anything. Well, except for your time, right? You got to spend some time to get good at this stuff. And then I will for sure be back on Friday. Actually, let me show you guys some stuff. Starting next week, I think the wife leaves on the 10th. She's going to do some of the Northeast states, so she's going to go hit some of those states. So I'm going to have like... I'll have a lot of time those next couple weekends because she's going to be out of town. She's going to hit some of the states up northeast that she hasn't been to yet. Just go like hang out, and she's got to do 3 things in each state to count them to hit all 50 before she turns 50. So she's going to go hit some of those and she'll be gone. So I'll have a couple of weekends where we're just going to be working on stuff in the labs and stuff. So probably this weekend I'm going to announce it, but we're going to be doing some open network testing of our lab environment. Where's our lab environment? Anyways, you know how we have those normal 19 Rocky boxes? You're going to be able to jump into those and reconnoiter and go look at some of the different nodes and stuff like that to see if there's anything that you can find out about them. We're going to do some gray box testing of the environment for you guys that kind of want to get a little more hacky. I'm going to do some of the stuff that I used to do with my red team guys to get them ready for doing pen testing and that kind of stuff. So hopefully that'll be interesting. It's still going to be systems administration stuff, but I'm going to have you guys doing stuff that's kind of looks like some of the security stuff that you run into. So let's build new labs in. We're going to use the same machines probably, Exunyum, but I might switch them over to Kali. So some of them will switch over to Kali here in the next few weeks, and then we're going to attack some of the other stuff. So yeah, this should be good. And then looks like Ranger's having a good time, so we're good there. Let's go find somebody to raid. I don't know who's on right now, but let's go see if anybody's around for us to raid on the Twitch side of things. YouTube, unfortunately, I can't raid anybody with you guys. But let's see who's on. If anybody I'm following is on. Kai is on. We could always raid Kai, but he's playing video games. We got a raid. So on the Twitch side, I wonder what it looks like when I do. Maybe I can't do that. You guys know what our little rage emoji, our little do all the Linux. That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna go raid over to Sid Heresy. So we'll go over there. I appreciate you guys coming by. Remember, even I'm a little low energy right now, but on Saturdays we do our Linux group, and we're very serious about it. And then on Sundays we record, so we'll be recording Unit 4 this week, and we'll kind of go from there. Wait, let me check real quick before I raid over there. Hold on. Let me make sure that Fisherman's not on, because I would normally raid Fisherman if he was on. I didn't see him come up, so no Fisherman. Alright, we'll go hit Sid. Alright, I appreciate you guys coming by. I will talk to some of you guys, I don't know, tomorrow? Might be around tomorrow. Oh yeah, Fisherman, I guess I'll miss you, but I'll get you in another one of these days. Another one of the days this week probably, so.